Are you looking for the best ice cream makers? In this video we will look at some of 6 best ice cream makers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Ninja Creami Deluxe 11-in-1 Ice Cream Maker. When you want rich and creamy ice cream made fresh from your kitchen counter, the Ninja Creami Deluxe gets it right. This machine features 11 different settings to concoct homemade ice cream and frozen desserts like gelatos, frozen yogurt, sorbets, and milkshakes. During our testing, this machine exceeded our expectations on all fronts. We were pleasantly surprised at the consistency of the ice cream it produces. Every batch we made was on point. Our sorbet turned out incredible, too firm without any ice or chunks. Even after sitting in the freezer for 2 hours, there was minimal crystallization on our sorbet. Plus, the Ninja Creami is very beginner-friendly as the buttons are very self-explanatory. We would happily recommend this ice cream maker to anyone who doesn't want to go through a lot of trial and error. We like that it has a built-in timer so you don't have to keep a close eye on it unless you want to. It also has helpful buttons to fix texture issues that other ice cream makers we tested didn't have. In terms of size, we found that this ice cream maker wasn't too obtrusive. It's around the size of a countertop coffee maker and has a sleek appearance, so it won't be an eyesore in your kitchen. One thing to note is that it's quite noisy. We found that it was about as loud as a coffee grinder, but we only needed to run the machine for 5 minutes in our testing, so it's pretty manageable. Also keep in mind that it can't make more than 1.5 pints, or 3 cups, of ice cream at a time, so it's not practical for a large family or when you have a group of guests coming over. Number 2. Nostalgia Wood Bucket Ice Cream Maker. Though its wood-like appearance may seem quaint, the Nostalgia 4-quart wood bucket ice cream maker is not old-fashioned in the least bit. That's because it's equipped with an electric motor and sturdy plastic paddle that can make ice cream, frozen yogurt, and sorbets in under an hour. This pick stands out because it has a 4-quart capacity, the biggest of all the ice cream makers we tested, making it ideal for large families, BBQs, and children's parties. You can also make your own ice cream flavors by mixing in the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry flavor packets that come with it. Even though it's big, it should be able to fit comfortably on most kitchen countertops. That being said, we think the best space for it would be an island space with no cabinets above it. It took us 38 minutes of churning to turn 2.6 quarts of the base mixture into 4 quarts of ice cream, plus a few extra minutes of adding the mix-ins. At first, we weren't that impressed with the texture of the ice cream in our tests. It seemed too soft and was not at all scoopable. We poured it into our pint containers. However, the texture seriously improved after 2 hours in the freezer. By the next day, the ice cream was ready to scoop, although there were some bits of ice here and there. Our only major issue with this machine was that it's quite messy, so you may want to use it outside or near the sink. Even though the care instructions are relatively easy, all of the parts can be washed by hand, and the motor can be wiped with a damp cloth, we found that the cleanup process was messy, too. Number 3. Chef N Sweet Spot Ice Cream Maker. Instead of an electric motor, the Chef N Sweet Spot ice cream maker only requires a flat pan and 2 plastic spatulas to make ice cream, gelato, slushies, and rolled ice cream, similar to what you would find in a Cold Stone ice cream parlor. Since this is a manual ice cream maker, you would think it would be slower than electric machines, but our tests surprisingly found that to be untrue. We made fluffy ice cream in just under 2 minutes, which is much faster than it took the electric models on our list. But you have to freeze the bowl for 24 hours in advance. Our only issue was that the ice cream was pretty stiff to handle at first. However, it did soften after a while and ended up being one of the creamiest ice creams we taste-tested. This set can also create delicious sorbets, which remain creamy even without the use of milk or coconut milk in the ingredients. Although we really liked how fun and easy it was to use this ice cream maker, we were a little disappointed that we can only make small quantities at a time. In our testing, a half a cup of dairy base, which is what the manufacturer recommends using, produced just a 3/4 cup of ice cream. Overall, we think it's a good option if you're looking for a fun way to make ice cream and have a lot of time on your hands. Just remember to wash the freezer bowl by hand, as it is not dishwasher safe. Number 4. Breville the Smart Scoop Ice Cream Maker. Breville's The Smart Scoop is a compressor ice cream maker, which means you don't need to freeze the bowl ahead of time. In our testing, this model impressed us with its intuitive design and multiple settings that do everything for you. It can even cool down your base before it starts churning for faster results. The Breville machine can make 1.5 quarts of ice cream at a time, all without you having to keep an eye on it. It'll make a sound when it's time to add mix-ins and again once the ice cream is ready. After 2 hours in the freezer, our ice cream was creamy and easy to scoop with just some ice crystals. But this compressor ice cream maker really shined in our second taste test. After the ice cream sat in the freezer overnight, its flavor outperformed the ice cream from most of the other machines we tested. This pick has 4 preset modes for making gelato, frozen yogurt, sorbet, and ice cream, and you can even choose from 12 levels of firmness. There's also a manual mode for those who'd rather have even more flexibility. Plus, this ice cream maker has a cooling mode that lets you store your frozen treats inside the machine for up to 3 hours. We appreciate that it comes with a recipe book, but we wish it had non-dairy ice cream recipes. There weren't any specific non-dairy ice cream settings on the machine either. Overall, we like this compressor machine because it's easy to use and has an LED screen that takes the guesswork out of making ice cream. Number 5. Cuisinart Frozen Yogurt, Ice Cream, and Sorbet Maker. The best part about Cuisinart's ice cream maker is its simplicity. All you have to do is turn it on to start making frozen yogurt, ice cream, and more. There are no extra settings to deal with. You do have to take the extra step of pre-freezing the bowl the day before, but we think the simple design makes it a fantastic choice for beginners who've never made homemade ice cream before. In our tests, we were able to make delicious ice cream and sorbet in around 20 minutes each from start to finish. For both recipes, the frozen desserts held their shape well for scooping and yielded denser textures compared to other ice cream makers we tested. The powerful motor and mixing paddle churn the ice cream evenly and can make up to 6 cups, or 1.5 quarts, at a time. Plus, you can add ingredients through the spout while the ice cream is churning without having to stop the process and open the lid. The base is large yet weighted to provide extra stability and prevent shifting while it's in use. Hands down, this Cuisinart ice cream maker was one of the easiest to use models we tested, and the results were just as impressive. Our only advice is to make sure you have enough storage space in your freezer because the freezer bowl is quite big. Number 6. KitchenAid Ice Cream Maker Attachment. If you already own a KitchenAid stand mixer, this attachment is appealing because you can easily whip up your ice cream without purchasing another appliance. And although the stand mixer itself will take up a lot of room on your countertop, This attachment, which consists of a metal bowl and paddle mixer, is compact and can easily be stored in a cabinet. In our testing, we noticed how high quality the pieces were. They felt durable and were not at all flimsy. While the instructions state that you should be able to make ice cream in about 20 to 30 minutes, we found this inaccurate. In our tests, our ice cream was far from ready at the 20-minute mark and still had a milkshake-like texture. Instead of scooping it, we had to pour it inside our storage containers. Even leaving it to freeze overnight didn't do much to improve the texture, as it just ended up being rock solid and hard to scoop. We also added our mix-ins too early, so the color of the ice cream changed to a dull gray. Our sorbet results were much better, though. It had a smooth, consistent texture that held its shape pretty well right out of the bowl, although it started to liquefy when we transferred the mixture to a pint-size container. The sorbet was equally as delicious after 2 hours in the freezer, although it was pretty dense and slightly more grainy. Even with these mixed results, we still recommend this KitchenAid attachment to anyone who already owns the brand's stand mixer and doesn't want to purchase another appliance to make ice cream. Just keep in mind that it may require a bit of a learning curve to get the texture just right.